everyone. This is Fran Lewis, and we are going
Good
to have
morning.
a great show. We have Mary Frances Mail, and we have Mary Pondam, and unfortunately, you have me too. What can I say? And we're going to talk about a very powerful book that's right here. And I have to tell you that my pharmacist, when I read it, I had to buy him a copy.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. And a few other people too got copies. And the people
wow.
that
Yay.
medical practices wanted copies. So I'm going to read
Nice.
the first paragraph of my review because I think that sets us off on a great introduction, I hope.
Got it.
Betrayed Reviews, the authors share a young girl's life filled with hope, abuse, and no one guiding her path as Mary tells us how she led a life in prostitution, sex trafficking, why she wound up in prison, and more. In 15 years old. Your topic and what this book is about has been on the news for the last 5 days.
Absolutely.
There's sex trafficking one in Poughkeepsie, there's one in Hackensack, there's one all over,
Hmm.
and
They're everywhere.
they're
Yeah.
trying to stop it, and they have
Hmm.
no clue. And even though they're trying to teach young girls, this is so important because young girls today have no clue
About being groomed.
about anything.
Yeah,
You'd be amazed. That's why my nieces, when they have a problem, call me.
absolutely.
Oh, are you kidding? They know better. Yes,
Forget
Mary,
about it.
this one is for you, the author. I alternated them between questions, author, writer, whatever. From chapter one, we realized that Mary was living a hard life and sad with her parents. Tell us about your relationship and why Carter was the special one. I know how that feels. And that led her mother to chaos on pages 7 and 8. I know that in some families, somebody's always the most special.
Yeah.
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 So, how did you
Uh-huh.
come to decide? How did you come to share this with everybody?
Well, I was 49 years old at the time. I was still working the streets. And I was having a nervous breakdown and didn't know it. And I didn't know what to do. I couldn't
Yeah.
go to the cops because they would try to. I just didn't trust them.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't go to the street girls because they tried to take me home. I couldn't go to anybody. I had nobody to go to. I've done drugs, I've drank, I've done all that. Nothing helped until one day I got on my knees and I was talking to God. God saved me, honestly. Promise. I was on my knees. I hadn't left my house for 2 years just to go get food or whatever, make enough money to go get food to feed my pets. So I rolled down my shutters and I stayed in that darkness for 2 years. I wore the same clothes every day for a year. I didn't have nobody to reach out to. So I thought. And then these ladies, they were called the Red Light Angels, and they used to come out to the streets and they try to give the girls snacks or
Yeah.
protections or whatever, right? And so they would come around me and I would go away real quick, and I spoke Japanese, so this one particular lady, she she always came towards me because she know I spoke Japanese. But and I didn't want to disrespect her or be rude, although I was only a couple years older than, or she's only a couple years older than me. um so my nana passed away.
Mm-hmm. That was
49
an
years old,
issue.
I start
Yeah.
writing this book, and my nana passed away probably not long after. And the last thing she told me was, I need to see you in heaven. You need to get your life together. I need to see you in heaven. And so she was my life. She was my world. And I wanted to do that no matter what. I did it for her. I didn't do it for God in the beginning. And I did that. I I was on my knees within a few days and begging to God, I need help. I'm going to die. I was down to 90 something pounds. And I walked to the nearest health place, clinic, and asked for help. And I started talking to a psychiatrist. It started from there. And so the little Japanese church lady, she finally got me to go to church with her one day. And I went. I knew once I went, I wasn't, that was it. So I went and I didn't know what to expect. And I went and I just kept going. And And a year later, I forgave my mother. And once I forgave her, I hadn't forgiven, I'd forgiven the bad people that hurt me, the bad customers, the girls that used to abuse me all the time, the pimp, of course. I had forgiven everybody except for my mom. Had I known I had to forgive her first, I'd be okay. I'm sure I would have done it a long time ago, but, I guess sometimes we just got to figure out and go with the flow, right? And so that's what happened. That's how I started. That's when I got off the streets. Either I was going to die. And it wasn't from drugs. It wasn't from all the beatings. I was going to die from a broken heart, for sure. That's
I
what
under,
happened.
I understand what you're saying. And when my sister died, I
Mhm.
watched my brother-in-law kill her. I stood there
Yeah.
while he pulled her life support. She
Yeah.
wasn't dead. He
Yeah.
decided that he didn't want her. She had a heart attack, and we never really found out what happened. And
Yeah.
I can't forgive him because I know she was alive. So what
You
I
got
did
to
was,
forgive him, though. You know
it's
why? It's
hard.
for you. It's
It's
for
hard to
you.
forgive him. And I
I
said to
know.
her, I wrote a book. That's how I wrote my children's books in her
Right.
memory.
Gotcha.
So everybody that wants to know the trouble I caused in the South Bronx,
Hmm.
two sisters from the Bronx. So
Hmm.
then, so Mary, the
Yes.
other Mary,
Yes.
I said, does I have this?
You jerk.
How did you come to learn about the book? I have to tell you, I read the book. I
Excuse me.
know you wrote it, but I could hear her voice the whole time.
Well, good.
I could tell that you heard her voice. I'm getting good at this,
Yeah.
let me tell you. So you
Yeah.
wrote her story, and how did you? I mean, I see it on the streets when I'm in the Bronx on Saturday because that's the only place to get hair and nails done is in the Bronx. Where I get my hair and nails, it's safe. But where I go to the diner, it's different,
Mhm.
and I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
Mhm.
How did you learn about her, and how did realize that she was becoming involved in sex trafficking and prostitution? That is the most, and it's very prevalent right now in the news.
Well, that we met when later. I mean, she was already 49. I didn't know Mary until much, much later. This was when she was just coming out of
Yeah.
it. And the reason we met is because of David, my husband, that David Putnam, the crime author. He was working in law enforcement at the time,
Mhm.
and this was in Hawaii, which is where I am now. It's very early, still dark, and he happened to be working with a guy that Mary knew kind of from the street because she was essentially a casual informant. If she would see a young woman on the street, you know, that was brand new, she would do whatever she could to try to prevent that from becoming
Mhm.
a long-term thing. And so she knew some
Mhm.
of these guys, including one that Dave worked with.
Mhm.
And he knew that Mary wanted to write this book and also knew that my David was an author. So he put the
Mhm.
two of them together. But I heard about it and I was so interested in the story and I tagged along. And of course, David was very linear and he would ask these questions almost like he was interrogating a suspect or something and trying to keep her focused, which neither one of us are super focused or linear, as you can probably tell. So finally, I just shoved him out of the way and said, let me do it. And so we
Yeah.
would talk story and I would record and we would have these. I thought of it. You remember the book Tuesdays with Maury? Because I would go over to her house like once a week or so and learn all this because I was a spoiled little white girl in Hawaii. I didn't know anything about any of this. So it was
Mhm.
fascinating to me that not only had she survived all this, but that she's still this funny, open,
Mhm.
warm, bright person. Like, how could this
Mhm.
happen? So I was just
Mhm.
sucked in
Yeah.
from the beginning and we hit it off. So we were and she had her little doggies too there with her. So it was super fun from the
Yeah.
get-go. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then but it took a long time because it took over 10 years and the story was
Yeah.
still evolving because
I-
she wasn't out of the life yet. And she actually invited me and Dave to her 50th birthday party, which was this amazing phenomenon. It was such a beautiful party, and I
From
got to
all
meet all
walks,
these different people from life. Right? Sorry, go ahead, Mary. You had a thought?
from all walks of life, like
Yes,
doctors, lawyers, drug dealers, hookers. I mean, a little bit of everything.
the people that
I
did our
had there.
nails, everyone.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, I taught in a tough school in the Bronx,
Mhm.
and that I loved it. But the weird part is that I was the reading specialist, and I came into school at 6:30 in the morning. There
Right.
was a prostitution ring across the street from the school. They came, the beautiful girls. At 6:30, I was walking in because I had a group of kids that snuck up on me at 7 o'clock every morning, for real.
No,
And
I got it.
they said, "You're really very good. We love you." I go, "Who told you that baloney?" They said you're the best reading person in the world. I said,
Nice.
right about that, but why are you here? I didn't know them. They came from foreign countries.
Oh,
He
yeah.
told us that you'll take us for reading at 7 and you wouldn't turn us down.
Oh,
They
Oh,
came from
and you
Jamaica,
didn't.
Ghana. I looked at them and I go, wait a minute. They said you could get us suspended. They were new to the country.
Yeah.
I said, this is a very good idea. If you
Hmm.
come every morning,
Hmm.
then Mrs. Lewis won't have to cover classes for the principal when no one else could pick up the class in the morning. And I
Hmm.
won't have to do extra lunch duty because I'll complain that you have to come for reading. These
That's
kids
nice.
perfect.
they didn't know the alphabet.
Yeah, I
Uh,
believe it.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And they came every day to torture me. They made sure. I created a
Hmm.
reading program that was insane. At the end of the year, they were on or above grade level.
Mm.
And they
wow.
looked at me and I said, how did you do it? I said, I didn't do anything. You tortured
Mhm.
me for 365 days.
Yeah.
So you just don't know.
Hmm.
So, Mary,
Yes.
I felt like you were first of all, the accordion, I learned how to play that. I'm a
Yeah.
music major, sort of.
Hmm.
So we have the accordion, then back to Buffalo. And I felt at times that you were being like sent back and forth to everybody. And then you met the catalyst in the book that it's very hard not to get manipulated by somebody like him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was a child, of course,
I
and
know. How would you
and
know?
yeah, and my mother just killed herself. I mean, and before my that even happened, my life home was awful. It was a terrible life. It was very violent. It was very uh the neighborhood. There was a
Yeah,
rumor my stepfather was mafia. He used to beat on her all the time. I mean, it is what it is. I've seen a lot of bad stuff before I even hit the streets. Obviously, my mother killed herself, and I was there, so that was the worst thing I could ever see. So anything beyond that, forget about it. Right?
yeah, I
Forget
know.
about it. Yeah, for real, forget about it. I just not that it didn't hear. It didn't do things to me. I had to learn how to one thing after the other thing just kept happening to me, and I had to put things in the back of my head and don't deal with it right then so I could survive right what's in front of me.
Uh
Do you
huh.
understand? So that's what I did, and I did it for 53 years. That's all I knew. People, how do you do it that long? That's all. I was a child. I was brainwashed. I was just, I mean, it just isn't. But guess what? They tried so bad. My heart is still real. I tell Mary all the time, I've had 22 surgeries trying to make myself better. So I thought,
You did a good job.
yeah, but you know what? I should have
It
left it
comes back at
alone.
you sometimes. I know.
I was beautiful already. It was what was brought. Do you understand? It was what I thought I had to do. And my heart, though, Mary knows everything's fake on me, but my heart is real. you know Still, they couldn't take my heart. That's what saved me, nothing else. God saved me.
Something this morning I got up and I said, Dear God, would you please make my face pain go away so I could
Yeah.
do the stream?
Oh,
And it
yeah.
was really bad. And all of
I'm
a sudden I
sorry.
had another cup of coffee and looked up, I go, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's good to hear.
I do believe in that
Mhm.
because you never know what's going to happen. So,
I've been
Mary,
through it, I know.
at a young age,
Mhm.
who introduced her to Marvin? And how do you get tricked by, oh my God, I knew right away. And then Sophie, whoa, the girl that brought you to the house, into the first room. I mean, how do you deal with that? Oh my God.
I didn't know how to. How I had to listen, and
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. And the first customer I had, he left. He knew I was a child. He couldn't deal with it. Thank goodness. But then I knew nothing. I didn't even know how to. My brain was not developed yet, and plus I had a lot of issues already. You know, so yeah.
It's sad. Mary, you were able to write this
Hmm.
and get around it.
Hmm.
How did you were you able to summarize her life, and how did you decide that this was the right thing to share with people? Because the hardest part, I imagine, would be to write this and to write the book and create the characters.
Well, we had a lot left out. I mean, that was a big choice because typically a
It's
memoir is like one little section of life, but we wanted to include all of it. So I felt like, when you're flying over a country and every now and then you touch down on the most key part. Like, of course, when her mother passed away, um, Mary, I was going to tell you, I was getting a question this morning from somebody who read it,
Here
and
it
they
is.
wanted to know like the exact moment that you figured out that this is what Marshall wanted you to do, which we kind of,
the
uh,
day I hit New York, and he made
yeah,
me get off the bus and go to work.
yeah,
That's when I
yeah,
realized I had no idea.
yeah,
I
because
have
on
the
the,
I have
sorry.
these in front of me now. This is better. Okay.
Okay,
Right in front of the Port
you got,
Authority. He had me come right out the Port
Yeah,
Authority station and go right there on 42nd Street with this girl and follow
that's
her and
scary.
pay
Yeah.
attention. Yeah. As a child.
hmm yeah,
As I learned about Marvin Wayhaven
Hmm.
a lot, I realized right away he was manipulative and he took you out for snacks and all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
I said,
yeah.
"Oh boy, how he didn't seem to care about anything." And when
No.
you finally got into this nonsense, it scared me the fact that it was all about money. And if
Mm.
somebody didn't bring in a lot of money, you had to face a lot of challenges because he would beat the crap out of people.
Yes.
And
With
what
with
would be the
hanger.
point of ruining the person's face or anything?
No, he wouldn't do your face.
He just did your
In the
butt. Yeah.
beginning, he did a little bit, but mostly he'd get a hanger.
How was he able to control so many girls? These girls were so tricked
There
into
were so
becoming
many.
this, and then some of them actually liked it.
Well, I don't know about liked it. They
I
didn't know.
don't. Well,
They
I
don't
wouldn't
know
want
anything.
that.
They're mentally ill. If they liked it, they were mental. Something's not right in the first place. You
Yeah.
don't just come out like that. Oh, I like this kind of stuff. Something must have
mhm,
happened to them. You know,
yeah.
they've had
They
some
just
kind
felt
of
like they didn't
trauma.
have a choice. Yeah, they didn't. They
Yeah.
felt like that was
Or
their only choice.
threatened. Yeah, threatened. He
That's
was 300
scary.
pounds.
That is so scary. So
6'8".
the other Mary, I'm looking at my questions was when I went to print this out, the printer's not printing today. It's not happy. So he was mean. And how would you Mary summarize Marvin's behavior? How would you summarize a cold-hearted, miserable person like that? I mean, and no one could escape him. Even
No,
when you sent him to different states and places and back and forth, he seemed to have the control over everyone, no
absolutely
matter where he went.
didn't matter.
How does somebody do
You
that?
know how? So I
Yeah,
I would be brainwashed. So
yeah,
I had to work Waldorf Astoria area, right? For
yeah,
8 hours. And then I had to go work 8th Avenue by Port Authority for 8 hours. That's 16 hours a day. And then I had to go
right,
home. Listen. And then I had to go home. And for
yeah.
4 hours, I had to hear him brainwash me and talk to me and talk to me. And then I got 4 hours sleep. That's how he did it. It was so much work. And so and then that's what happens, you know?
No, I understand what you're saying.
Hmm.
Mary, did you ever confer with somebody about her life? And how do you react when the word tricked has a multiple meanings?
Mhm,
We know that. Not only
Hmm.
were they tricked, but the trick itself is multiple meaning. I got
mhm,
that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And you two became good friends, which is even better. I mean, and the
Yeah.
fact that you had the courage to write this is even better. Because somebody asked me to write their story, and
Mhm.
if I don't feel comfortable with what their story is, I won't write it. And to let you
Right.
know very honestly, if I don't feel comfortable with the book, I won't review it.
Right. I hear
Oh,
you.
thank you. Yeah, and actually, I had tried to write a story. Somebody actually was going to pay me a lot of money to ghostwrite a story for them prior to that. Mary, I don't know if I ever told you about this,
No,
but
you didn't.
it didn't. It didn't work out, and I felt terrible. But yeah, it's such a personal thing,
It
and
really is.
you
Yeah.
know, because we spent so much time together and talked
Okay.
about so many personal things. Yeah, now I forgot what the question was. But yeah, it was it was hard. Um, and I was learning as I went because I was a physics major at school. My whole
Mhm.
life I was, technical writing software and whatnot. But
Wow.
as you know, I met my husband in a novel writing workshop, and I always loved stories and always fascinated by people that, especially folks like even my own parents who had broken a cycle or who had overcome their crappy background,
Okay.
especially for the sake of their own children, right? Like I
Man,
was
that's
lucky that
right.
even though
Right.
both of my parents had shitty childhoods, pardon my French, they decided to make
Man,
sure that me and my brother had a beautiful
you're
life
so
here
blessed.
in
Yep.
Hawaii. Yes. So I always have been fascinated by how do people have that courage and that strength
Mhm.
to move beyond their own whatever screwed up background. So yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you got your printer working. It's
Okay,
got
that's a
an opinion
question.
of
But my printer is finally cooperating.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mary Mel. Okay, here we go. How, how did you meet? And he was a good person. Yeah, how did you meet Doug? And let's skip to Jenny and your friendship. Were you very close? Things
Doug
change.
was not.
Things change well through life, unfortunately.
Yeah, Doug. He was my driver originally. When I first came to
Yeah,
Hawaii, he was my driver. Well, not when I
I know.
first
I
came. Back in
remember.
'89, he was my driver. He was my best friend. We weren't physical. He was just my best friend, and he loved me. He wanted to make sure I was okay. So I went to go visit him. I was heading back to Hawaii to go live. I went and tried to stay with my daughter for a year, but it didn't work out because we're different places in our lives. So I was going back to Hawaii. I had my job back. I had a place already, and I went to go see my friend, my driver friend, because we were good friends. And
Well,
when I
hang on
see him,
now.
he was
This was years
blind.
later. You
Yeah.
you jumped ahead.
Oh,
This is how we
sorry.
do it, right? Like, hang
I
on. So
Time
she
out.
met him in like
Go
back
ahead. You
in
do it.
'89, but like decades passed and
Yeah.
COVID, and she goes to live with her daughter. And yeah, so sorry, I just had to
You said
pause
no.
you there.
Finish it. Finish it.
Doug.
Finish. No, no, no. You know I have ADHD. Go ahead.
So yeah, when she was back, that must have been 2021, 2020,
Mhm.
when
Come-
she decided she was going to move back to Hawaii, and she was going to
Yeah,
make one more stop on the way home to see her good friend Doug because she knew that Doug had some
I
medical issues.
remember.
Yeah, and that's when she stopped and saw right away
Ugh, it broke my heart.
I
that
Yeah.
know.
she.
I couldn't.
How did your friends react to that? Now that you brought up Deb, how did you wind up, being friends? Did anybody stick with you? Any of your friends?
Oh, I got plenty of friends. I still have friends.
Yeah,
Even when they done me wrong, whether they
yeah,
robbed me or did, I still, you know what? I forgive people. I have that forgive me gene. At the end of the day, I know people make you do things and you're talked into doing it.
yeah.
I forgive. I can always get more money. I
Me
can always
too.
get more
Yeah.
jewelry. But guess what? I'll be your friend, but I'm gonna, you know, y- friends are priceless. But this is people don't know how to be friends anymore. It really breaks my heart. So many people have done so wrong to me, and guess what? I still love on them.
You know something? You can't stay. I learned that you can't stay angry for the rest of your life because it's only going to
It'll
affect
make you
you.
sick. It'll make you sick for
I
sure.
know. The
Yeah.
sad part is that the people that were supposed to be on my side,
Mhm.
I sat there and watched them turn their back on me.
Mhm.
And then I said, you know what? I'll handle it myself because I'm a big girl and I'll just survive
Yep.
on my own.
Figure it out.
So, Mary, you define how marriage face, you both face a whole lot of challenges, but
Mhm.
Marvin was under control. And how do you deal with somebody? Things change when you decided to press Marvin for a commitment. And I'm going like, why does she
No,
doing
no, no,
that?
no, 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 no.
That's what it said.
No, he pressed me for the
You for a
commitment.
commitment, right? He
Him,
wanted
because
you.
I couldn't have any children. So the only way he could hold on to me, because he had babies with other people. I couldn't have children because I was destroyed down there from doing so much with these
Yeah, I
customers
know
when I was a
because
child.
he figured he'd
Right. So
control you even more.
yeah,
Mhm.
right. So so he's thinking, you're not supposed to do this, we're not allowed to do this, but I'm gonna do this for you, but you can't tell the other girls.
Yeah,
Yeah, so within 2 months I had it annulled real quick because he even got crazier. He
I
tried
don't
everything
blame
to keep
you.
me. Yeah.
I don't blame you. How do
Yeah.
you deal with this man? And then I couldn't stand the fact that he kept saying that you were his special girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was such a bunch of baloney.
He does that to everybody. That's what they do.
I know
They
there's baloney. I know.
Yeah, it's all manipulation.
Well, I'll tell you. Like I said, I taught in the school for a long time,
Hmm.
and I knew there was a ring across the street from my school, which is run
Hmm.
by one of the parents of one of my students.
Right.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and he came in,
Hmm.
and I talked to him about his children,
Hmm.
and he asked me if I wanted to join his group. I
Hmm.
said, oh yeah, because I was adorable back then. I
Right.
said, the only thing I'm here for is to talk about your son
Hmm.
and your daughter. The
Hmm.
son was a double U student. It was difficult, but not with me.
Right.
They never had a problem.
Hmm.
And the father was doing something. I said, if you lay one more hand on him, I'm going to smash you as big as you are, because I'm responsible.
Oh,
So what
really?
can I say? I mean,
Mhm.
then how did you bring Delilah, and how did she turn on you?
Which one's Delilah? I haven't even read the book that much.
Oh, that was we. That was your daughter. We
Yeah,
renamed her. Remember?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
We
right. Yeah,
changed
yeah, yeah. Now,
yeah.
she because she I don't know. I mean, you got to look at it on her side. I try to look at on everybody's side of it. Here she's a child, and her mother gave her away. I mean, who
Yeah,
knows what she's going through? You know what I'm saying? So, and it wasn't like that. Now she's older. She understands a lot, and she's glad that I have her instead of her biological mother. You know?
that's sad.
Well, and
Yeah.
Fran, I have to tell you that when the book first came out, I got a call from,
Yeah,
I'm not going to say her real name, but Delilah, the daughter, and I was kind of bracing myself because she was going a little hot and cold on the book and whether, from
Yeah.
the beginning of it. But she just went on and on about how she was so proud of her mom and so glad that we had done this. And she was struggling to read the book. She got to the part where she first met her dad, where Marshall first comes in, or
Mhm.
Marvin, whatever we called him.
Marvin.
We changed a few names. Um, and then that's as far as she could read when, because she never met her dad in real life. It was only at the funeral that she ever even saw him or
well,
anything.
she
But
well she was a baby. She don't.
yeah, yeah. So as an
um,
adult, I don't know if she ever did finish reading it, but at the time when we were here in Hawaii doing that book signing at Ala Moana, she could only read so far as the time that scene where her dad slaps her mom, and that was tough for her. That's where she stalled out, which I thought was interesting.
so tell me this. I got over here.
Dang, I don't know
The
what
character
happened.
that was very special to you is Peter. You're still
Uh-oh.
close with Peter.
Mhm.
With Peter.
Which one
Peter
was
and
Peter?
Delilah create her own life. And the church group, how did the church group change your life when you met with the girls and you spoke with them? How did that make you
Oh well,
feel?
a lot of them they ran from me. They would run. Oh, they didn't want
Yeah,
nothing to do with me. But then I
yeah,
was working at this restaurant
yeah.
that helped people from prisons and from the streets and all that. It was just for us. And I had them come to my birthday party there. And once they seen, they loved me. They respected me no matter what it was. I was always like a mom out there for everybody, even including the crazy people.
Okay,
Right.
before I forget, I don't want to forget because they'll yell at me. On
Okay.
August 8th, Dr. George Cavuto, my professor from Lehman, we're going to do a stream. The problem is that he tells me the questions, I have to do the research and answer them to make sure I
Right.
still am up on it. It's fun. On the 14th, New York Times author
Hmm.
Dennis Palumbo with his new book and an audio on panic attack.
Oh yeah.
On the 29th, I have Mark Cameron. And on the 21st, I can't remember what that. And the 5th, Alan Jacobson is coming on.
Hmm.
And I know there's on the 21st. Let me look on my calendar. I know it's there somewhere. My brain is gone. There's another New York Times author coming on April 21st. Yeah, it's the killing,
I'm
the author
driving.
of the killing breath
Oh, wow.
is
You got
coming
quite the
on there.
lineup.
Yeah. And on the 5th, Alan Jacobson's gonna send me his book, and I'm excited about that. And on August 10th, Tess Gerritsen.
Oh, nice. Wow. That'll be fun.
Yeah, and
Mm.
call it? Alan Jacobson's gonna come on. Also, I can't believe all of them. And Charles Salzberg in July, we think.
Very nice.
So, tell us why at the end, Mary, some sex trafficking is in the news. And you know what? Kids have to know, and I'm going to put this on my Facebook and everywhere. And I guarantee when I put this stream on LinkedIn, it's going to get about 200 views in 5 minutes. So I got like yesterday, go like, you got to be kidding me. It's everywhere for some reason. People have to
Mhm.
understand that. Tell us why you went back to Doug, and that was a good thing.
Say that again. I'm
Oh, she
sorry.
went back to,
Mary, why did you go back to Doug,
What?
the
Because he needed
driver?
me. He was blind. He
I
needed
don't
me.
blame you. You did a
Yeah, he
good
had
job.
nobody. His own sister wouldn't even help him. So, matter of fact, she didn't even know he.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. It was. I was so brokenhearted for him. It broke my heart.
You know what's really fun though? As I read the chapters, I love the fact that you had titles on each one, so I sort of knew what to expect in the chapter. Yeah, especially chapter 24, Who's Your Daddy? And the other one is Not So Big Wedding. And there's a few, and of course, the best one, I got this memorized, people, is the last one, Found.
oh, that was the
That,
last.
that, that is, yeah. And of course, the photos,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah.
that nobody's getting this one. All right,
Oh,
I saw it on there and I got a copy that Mary sent, and then you sent another one, and then I got a couple, like I said before. So, Mary, are you writing
I
another
can't hear
book?
you.
And is there another sequel to this? Are you going to write more about your life and sex
yeah,
trafficking? Or you're going to
yeah,
write another book?
I know she's having a little hard time with her connection there, but she absolutely is writing more, and she wants to write about all the surgeries and the
Yeah,
body dysgraphia because so many
that's
young
good.
women
Yeah,
think that they
body
need to change themselves. Dysmorphia, sorry, I got the wrong word. Yeah, because so many young women who think they're not good enough for whatever reason, and that's just not true, and you can really ruin yourself by all that unnecessary
Yeah.
surgery.
Yeah.
So, Mary, you don't hear
Yes,
from family
for
or
sure.
anything, do you?
Say that again?
I
You
don't
don't
have
hear
what?
from Carter or anything, do you? It's sad, I know.
I have family in Canada. Most of my
Yeah,
family's in Canada.
that's where, yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
My
And
mother
when
was
I,
from Newfoundland. Yeah.
Well,
it's
she's living
sad.
near her.
And I have a sister here. I have a sister here with me.
So
Mhm.
I hope there's a sequel. Mary, if young girls are walking down the street in the Bronx, you should see, and some of them are my students. Oh yeah, and I know what they're doing because they're on Facebook, and
Yep.
they're wonderful. There's Taylor is actor, team Spartan. He's an activist that helps kids that are disciplined. He helps people with
Mhm.
exercise. There's Fatima. There's all of them on Facebook. All of my students, and they remind me that I did a very good job
Mhm.
torturing them, and that I love them. But I also the fun part is that if they have a problem, they private message me to help them answer it. I keep remembering they're not that much younger
Right.
than me. They're in their 50s. And then my foot doctor was my student.
Wow.
Yeah, and Mark, and one of them is the head hotelier in the world. He creates gowns all over the
That's
world.
nice.
So I must have done a great job. But
Yes.
what would you tell young girls today? And how could they understand not to get tripped into that kind of life? What do you tell them? Because you're going to see them walking on the street. You could tell. You can almost pick them out.
I'm not hearing her, Mary.
What would you tell young
I
girls
can't
about
hear
this?
you.
How
One
would
more
you
time.
warn them? If some guy says, you want to come with me, or I
I
can
can't
do
hear her.
some. Last
Can you,
week there was
can
a
you
kid
hear me,
on,
Mary?
yeah, there was a kid that was offered a ride, a
I don't.
young girl that was 15, and she said, I'm not getting into the car with you. She ran and called her mother.
Oh wow.
And
That's
there's
good.
a whole bunch in front of the schools up in Pomona and Poughkeepsie, and there was a
Mhm.
whole big sex trafficking things in one of the schools, and the kids reported it.
That's
Good.
great.
Yeah.
So what do you tell them? How do you not get forced into a life like this?
You know that you got to look for the clues. You look for the clues by how their attitude all of a sudden changes, or they're distant, or they're losing weight, or or they have more money all of a sudden, or they're buying things somebody's
I
supposed to be
know.
getting them. Huh?
What do you say to them? How do you tell them to help them?
You let them know. You tell them these things. This is what you sit down and you have a conversation with them. This is what you need to be aware of. This is this world. This is what this is. This is not. You can't keep sugarcoating everything. You got to let them know from a young age, because this is what we're dealing with. You know.
Parents are
Period.
parents are not talking to their kids, and
Yeah.
I
Look
said
what
that's why
happens. Look what happens.
my nieces
Um.
call
Uh,
me, and I call my other nieces, and I'm saying I don't
yeah.
like what your child wore on Facebook.
Right.
She's a star. She's a songstress. I said I
Yeah.
don't like this outfit, and I'll text my
Right.
niece and I'll say, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
I said, if you want to be who you are, then you have to be who you're supposed to be. So, thank you so much.